Welcome to the Not Pedal Show. It's the Pedal Podcast. This week I am talking with Alan from Radio Wave Effects. This is the full conversation that runs for about 17 minutes. It's great. We get into what he does, why he does it, and what he's into. Enjoy. G'day, Alan. Thanks heaps for joining us.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for having me.
First things first, I ask everyone, tell me about Radio Wave Effects.
I started it in 2023, holiday gifts for some friends.
Nice.
And then as I kept on working on the circuit and giving it to a few people, a few friends to just mess around with, I was just starting to get feedback. Hey, this is really good. You should do something with it. But my background with pedals goes back well before that.
Is that in Kentucky that you were sort of when you started 2023?
Yeah, it was. I was actually, funny enough, I was doing a boot camp for data analytics online. I was like getting towards the end of it, and I had some, personal things happen that sort of distracted me from the whole data analytics project. But I also started thinking, man, this is not for me. Yeah. This is definitely not for me. And to kill time in between class projects, I would just start messing with circuits. And so that was sort of the catalyst of Radio Wave, was me realizing that I didn't want to do data analytics for the rest of my life.
What better motivator than knowing what you don't want to do when you've got the option of making guitar pedals? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now you've been playing, I assume. I know you're a musician. We've talked about gear a lot. You were playing, I assume, in bands and stuff leading up to that before you sort of took that dive into tinkering and eventually starting a pedal company. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been playing in bands since I was 12. I happen to have a close friend who got a drum set about the same time I got my first guitar.
What was the first guitar?
First guitar was a Squier Strat.
Classic.
Humbucker, single coil.
Still got it?
No. Shortly, probably like a few years later, I had that guitar, and then I think I bought a Ibanez from another friend for like $100, and then turned those in, and I ended up with a Epiphone G400, the SG, which was my first proper. I like to think of it as my proper guitar.
So my first guitar was a gift from like one of my parents after I'd been playing for years, and they finally cracked and got me an electric guitar. And there was a story behind it that it was one of the Traveling Wilburys, like tour bus sort of demo guitar, and I traded it when I was 12 for a skateboard.
Oh man.
And I've never lived it down. I regret it. It keeps me awake at night to this day, and I'm always curious about people's origin stories with their guitars. Now, favorite pedal. Have you got a current favorite pedal that sort of really?
Oh yeah, man. The Electro Harmonix 16-second delay. It's so wild. I mean, now I have the reissue. Musicians like Nels Cline are like famous for using it, but it's like almost like the first looper in a way.
Yeah, I think he uses it. I think it's all over the Wilco album, Sky Blue Sky, with a lot of Nels's solos, that really beautiful loopy kind of dragged out delay. Yeah,
they just add a real spacey, there's a lot of texture to that sound. So, it's not the most practical pedal for in a lot of applications, but I can just get lost for hours playing with that thing. Yeah, time goes by so quick when I'm messing around with it.
I mean, that's what it's all about with the pedals, I think, finding that place where you can just sort of get lost in it and really explore new stuff, Yeah, okay, that's great. So Radio Wave Effects started probably around 2023, we're saying. You were making stuff for friends. And then I assume you made your first sort of production model, which you sort of repeated and started making.
I did five or six, I guess, what were prototypes for the Dalater.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think I have one of those. I sent them all to friends. And then I just kept on hammering away at the circuit. There were little things that I wanted to fine tune. I wanted to get the bass and the treble just right so that it would, problem with a lot of fuzz pedals is it's really hard to get them to cut through when you're playing with a band.
Yep.
And I didn't want to lose that broken sound, but so I just had to figure out how I could sort of retain that broken sound and still have that pedal cut through the mix of a band. So yeah, I just kept on working at it, and then the design just popped in my head one day. I was working with a graphic designer. We were just kind of all over the place with logo and things like that, and things didn't work out with him. But I just sketched out that asymmetrical triangle, and it was to me it was probably inspired by the classic pedals like the early Electro Harmonix pedals. And that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted it to be a real simple design, but it was still unique in its own way. And then I added that circle around the bias knob just so it would match the diameter of the bigger knobs for the volume and the fuzz. And so it just it started taking on its own life. And then I reached out to a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist in Boston, and really good artist. I was like, hey, do you do work in Illustrator? He's like, I absolutely do. So I showed him my sketch. He worked it all out in Illustrator for me. And then he added, we were talking about the Civil War Big Muff and how that Big Muff logo, it's two tones, right? It's like it's one color screen print, but it's two tone because the metal of the pedal is.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incidentally the background. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were just talking about how cool that was. And I left him with it, and then he came back with the dowler in that triangle. It just worked out. It was amazing. It just fell together.
Yeah.
Really well.
I think from the first moment I saw the dowler, like that was the first pedal, I saw of yours, and that you listed with us on notpedals.com. And it just has that, it instantly had that look of a pedal that sometimes you see where you're like, I know this pedal. It's like really intuitive. It looks like a classic. The print, it's beautifully designed. It's not overcomplicated. You've got that nice black and blue two-tone thing going on.
Yeah.
And then seeing the demos, seeing the bias knob in action, and you sort of touched on this before. My first pedal was a Big Muff, and just knowing that mid dip that you get once you take a fuzz pedal into a band situation or a recording situation, and you go, God damn, what has happened to my signal? Where have I gone? Seeing that bias knob in action, I was like, that's fantastic. Like really nicely designed, really useful fuzz, man.
Yeah, the design seems to catch a lot of people's eyes. That's I hear from a lot of people where it's just like, man, I saw that and it sounds like I want it to sound, and it looks like I want it to look.
That's what you want. Now,
but, it is a classic circuit. That's the thing, is it is the topology is a fuzz face circuit.
Yeah.
Just the original fuzz face, it's a cool pedal.
Yeah.
But they're quiet and they're
imperfect.
It's amazing that musicians were able to get the sounds out of them back in the 60s, but I'm pretty sure that they were modifying them as well. I think Jimi Hendrix, his fuzz face was heavily modified. So it just, it needed work, and it was fun. It was a fun project to do, and I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's a great pedal. People can, if you're listening, you can jump on Not Pedals and search Radio Wave, or just go to the fuzz section. You'll see the Dalit there. There's a couple of versions, the smaller one, and the original. Now, looking to the future, talk to me about the new pedal.
Yeah, Nervous Energy. Mm-hmm. It's a very unique fuzz pedal, fuzz distortion, I would really call it. The design of the pedal is based off of a Roland double beat fuzz wah, and I had one here to work on for a friend. Once I got the switch replaced and everything, it sounded really cool. Like there was tons of potential there. what really made that pedal, I think, stand out was that there was a switch on there that you could select 3 different waveforms. So it was a square wave, a triangle wave, and a sine wave to shape the fuzz signal. It was just amazing sounding. Just to have those 3 options on a fuzz pedal, it was just the what you could do with that blew me away. But of course, like a lot of old pedals, I think it was obscure for a reason. It's because some of those, it was just tough to use, I think, in a band setting, more than likely.
I think it's the tone selector you're talking about, isn't it? And it's got those 3 little, like, weird little drawings of
rotate it through.
Yeah. The sine waves. Yeah.
So when I started looking at the circuit, I was like, man, this is it's really not that complicated of a circuit. And then I started doing research, breadboarded my first version of it, and then realized that it just wasn't quite there. So I had to redo all of the tone selections for the, all of the waveforms, basically. So I redesigned the sine wave, so it was a little more beefier, had a mid scoop to it. Pretty much did away with the triangle wave, because the original was very harsh. You almost it couldn't even discern. It was like if you were to take like an octave pedal and just slam it out, and
the word jagged comes to mind.
Only bar chords, it was just gonna like hurt your ears almost. So yeah, I started looking around online, and I saw that there was a PCB designer, Ion Effects, who had added an input volume to his design, and I was like, man, that's brilliant. I had actually just happened to have added the body shaping knob on it. I do that with almost every fuzz pedal I'll build, where you can rotate between 2 capacitors and adjust the high end and low end, right? And so that input volume, just I was like, that's amazing. So I borrowed that from him. I was basically just like building a recipe and adding my own ingredients, more or less. But, huge shout out to Ion Effects for finding that as well. I mean, like, that guy does amazing work.
Yeah.
As it is for, So anyway, you could buy the Ion Effects circuit and build essentially what would be pretty close to the Nervous Energy, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, and I love as well, look, the design is great. I remember chatting to you when you were first sort of hatching this, I think, and still sort of putting it together as you do, and that there's amazing artwork on it. The knobs are great. There's hyperactivity. There's stress. Yeah. There's a mood knob, which is, I think, great. What was the sort of idea behind that sort of?
Yeah, when I was originally working on the circuit, I decided to purposefully add self-oscillation in there.
Yeah, great.
Because I knew that it would you basically have the mood knob, which shapes it's like a tone knob, but it's not. It's really just rotating between 2 capacitors to shape your low end, high end.
Interesting.
So it doesn't work exactly like a tone knob.
Sure.
Similar. But then, having the 3 different settings on the yes, no, maybe toggle, it still wasn't right. I was just like, it just wasn't where I wanted it yet. So then I added the oscillation on the when I was breadboarding it, and I was like, man, this is wild.
Yeah.
And originally that circuit was supposed to have a tremolo added to it as well.
Yeah.
So that's where Nervous Energy came from.
Yeah.
Was this like
shaky kind of
this rhythmic tremolo circuit that I'd been working on, along with the self oscillation. And so it just sounded like madness, like Nervous Energy to me. So I decided to release this one without the tremolo. I wanted to keep it within a reasonable price point.
Yeah.
But we are actually working on atomic Nervous Energy. I don't know if that's what we're going to call it yet.
Okay, great.
And atomic Nervous Energy will have the tremolo in it.
That's what I'm very there for pedals like this, the Nervous Energy, that are really nice, sort of classic. They do what they do really well, pedals, and throw a tremolo in there.
Well, so we will be releasing that tremolo before the end of the year. So for anybody who had already bought a Nervous Energy, I'm going to keep that tremolo within a certain price point so that it's not like, oh, now I have the tremolo version, I should have waited. You can actually grab the tremolo pedal, use it independently.
Okay, fantastic.
So I'm going to put it in a price point so they all work together.
Oh, that's really cool. We've got stock now of the Nervous Energy on notpedals.com. People can jump on there. Obviously, we do free shipping on every pedal. Alan, you make really nice stuff. I'm really excited to see where Radio Wave goes. You know, it's really well thought out, beautiful stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well done. I ask everyone at the end here, is there a recommendation, anything at all to put you on the spot? It can be a movie you've seen, a book you've read, a recipe you like, a restaurant you've gone to, or it can be another builder who you like. Anything you want to shout out to?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm pretty sure people are familiar with Monkey Riot, but I was able to hang out with him and a bunch of the other Nashville guys, Nashville builders. That whole crew, man, they are making some wild pedals. Rose Electric Audio, Hagtronics.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, just really smart guys putting out really smart designs. So I'm sorry if I forgot about other builders that were there, but
sure.
And there's also a new builder too, Eavesdropper, who sent me his Ranchero.
Yeah,
Sweet little
Eavesdropper
overdrive
stuff's amazing. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. So yeah, those are my like recent discoveries of circuits.
the Ranchero as well by Eavesdropper is a beautiful pedal.
It is. Yeah.
Alan, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Alex. I enjoyed it.
As always, the full range of Radio Wave effects are available on notpedals.com with free shipping. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.